Hi, this is Ike from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another book to read for you. Today's book is The Fox and the Hound from 1981. So let's get started. Big Mama the owl looked down from her perch high in a tree. Something was lying in the tall grass. A small furry something that hadn't been there before. The old owl was puzzled. What could it be? Big Mama had to know everything. So she spread her wings and glided down for a closer look. Fuss my feather, she grasped, a baby fox. Some hunter must have chased his mother, and now he's alone in the water. The little fox looked up at Big Mama with sad eyes. Don't you worry, darling. Big Mama said softly. Everything will be all right. We'll find someone to take care of you. Donkey the sparrow and Boomer the woodpecker came scurrying over to see what Big Mama was doing. What a cute little fox, they said, but he needs a home. The bird decided that Widow Tweet, a kindly old woman who lived nearby, would take good care of the baby fox. How can we get her to find him? Asked Boomer. I have a plan, Dinky chirped. Dinky and Boomer snatched some laundry from the widow clothesline. Come back with my wash, cried Widow Tweet, chasing them. Come back here, you silly bird. The bird flew right to the spot where the baby fox hidden, where the baby fox would hidden, and dropped the laundry on him. Widow Tweet came huffing and puffing after them. When she picked up her laundry, she found a surprise. A dear little fox, she exclaimed, and no mother to look after you. Why, that will never do. She took the fox back to the farmhouse. I'm going to call you Todd, she said. I'll take good care of you, and you'll be good company for me. In her cozy kitchen, Widow Tweet held Todd in her lap and fed him milk from a bottle. Big Mama, Dinky, and Boomer watched happily from the window. They knew their baby fox had a good home. That same day, a hound dog puppy also found a home in a cabin near the widow farm. The cabin belonged to a rough, grumpy hunter named Amos Sludge. Amos chugged on. Wait, Amos chugged on to his cabin in his pickup truck. He took the puppy out of the truck and sat him down in front of the chief, his old hunting dog. Look here, chief, he said. This puppy name is Copper. Take good care of him. I'm going to teach him to be a real smart hunter like you. Old Chief wasn't sure he wanted another hound around the place, but Copper was cute and friendly, so Chief decided to make the best of it. Todd and Copper both liked their new home. Todd spent his days happily in Widow Tweet barnyard, and Cooper played near Amos' cabin while Chief dozed in the sun. On one day, the little fox was chasing a butterfly. Over a stone wall he went, through a field of wildflower, and into a patch of woods near Amy's cabin. Cooper was playing in Amy's yard as usual. Suddenly he stopped. His nose began to twitch. What's that interesting new smell? He asked Chief. Nothing, Chief said drowsily. The master's just cooking. But Cooper knew it wasn't a cooking smell. He wanted to find out more, so he followed his nose out of the yard and into the woods. Suddenly, he bumped into Todd. The fox and the hound stared at each other. Todd wiggled his ears. Cooper wiggled his tail. Todd gave a questioning yipe. Cooper replied with a friendly little bark. Before long, they was playing hide and seek. Todd and Cooper had so much fun they played together every day. After that, all summer they roamed through the woods and across the sunny meadows. Big Mama, Dinky, and Boomer watched the young playmates. Gracious me, said Big Mama. It's very unusual for a fox and a hound to be so friendly. It just isn't done, but they do like each other. Let's hope for the best. One day, when Todd came to Amos to get Cooper, he found his friends tied in a yard. The master says I have to stay home, Copper said sadly. That's okay, said Todd. There's a lot to do here. He looked into Chief Barrow. The old dog was dozing there. Todd, don't, Cooper warned as Todd creeped into the barrow, but it was too late. Chief was awakened. He growled angrily. Todd ran. Chief bounded after him. The barrow crashed and treadily through the yard. Amos heard the racket and came racing out of the cabin, firing his shotgun. Todd didn't stop running until he got home to Widow Tweet. Amos was right behind him. He banged on Widow Tweet's door. That fox was after my chicken, he shouted furiously. If I ever catch him on my property again, I'll blast him, and next time I won't miss. Summer was over. The cold autumn weather came, and with it the hunting season. Amos loaded his raggedy truck with food, blankets, and a tent, and some ammo traps. Then he whistled for Chief and Copper. Off they went on a long hunting trip. Todd was lonely without Copper. I wish my friend would come back, he said to Big Mama. He may not be your friend when he comes back, she said. He'll be a hunting dog by then. He'll be trained to kill foxes, not play with them. Todd shook his head. Oh no, we'll be friends forever, little one, said Big Mama. Forever is a long, long time, and time has its way of changing things. All that winter, Copper worked side by side with Chief. The old dog taught him to track and hunt and find his way through the snowy woods. Copper grew fond of his teacher, and he learned quickly. By winter end, he was a smart, strong hunting dog. At the farm, Todd passed it the winterly days, visiting the animals in the barn, and taking long naps in Widow Tweet's warm kitchen. He was grown too. By springtime, he was a sturdy, handsome fox with a fine, bushy tail. One day in early spring, the hunter came home at last. That night, Todd hurried over to visit his old friend. You shouldn't be here, Todd, Copper said. I'm a hunting dog now, and we can't be friends anymore. You better go before Chief wakes up. Todd's feeling was hurt, but he didn't want Copper to know. He flicked his tail and tried to look brave. I'm not afraid of that old hound, he said loudly. Chief woke with a start. He young at Todd howling and barking. Amos rushed out of the cabin, holding his shotgun. Run, Todd, Copper cried. Run, I'll lead him the wrong way. Todd raced into the night, his heart pounding. The dog and the hunter were close behind him. Todd ran up a steep hill and started across a high wooden railroad bridge. Keeping his promise, Copper led Amos away from the bridge. Todd sighed with relief as he watched them go, but he hadn't forgot about Chief. Suddenly, the fiercest old dog was in front of him. Graw, snapped Chief, showing his sharp teeth. Todd ran back across the bridge. Just then, a train came rolling out of the darkness. It sped along the high twisters, heading straight for Todd. He flattened himself behind the rail. The train smooshed by, just missing him, but Chief was too big to get out of the way. The train grazed his side, and it tumbled off the bridge. The old dog landed at the bottom of the ravine. He was badly hurt, and Copper and Amos rushed over to help him. "It's all that fox fault," shouted the hunter. Copper thought so too. He looked up at Todd, who was watching from the bridge, forgetting about their friendship. Copper growled, "I'll get even with you for this, Todd, someday. I'll get even." Widow Tweet had been out looking for Todd. When she found him, he was sad and tired, but unhurt. She took him home and locked the door. Later that night, Amos banged on the door. Widow Todd wouldn't let him in. "I'll get that fox, Amos," be Widow, as he stomped away. "I'll get him if it's the last thing I do." Widow Todd knew that Todd would be in danger as long as he stayed on the farm. She had to do something to protect him. "Tomorrow," she said to Todd, "I'll take you to the game preserve. That's a special place where hunting and trapping aren't allowed. You'll be safe there." Early next morning, they started off in the car. "I'll miss you, Todd," said Widow Tweet. "Sadly, I'll miss you very much." At first, Todd was lonely and unhappy in the huge game preserve, but soon Big Mama came to visit him, and he began to make friends. He met an old badger and a prickly porcupine, and he met a lovely female named Veronica, a Vixie. "It's not bad here," Todd decided. "I miss Copper and Widow Tweet, but I do like Vixie, and at last I'm safe from Amos' letters." But the grumpy hunter hadn't forgotten Todd. Chief Legs was still bandaged up, and Amos wanted revenge. Early one morning, he whistled for Copper, started his truck, and drove off to the game preserve. Hunting isn't allowed there," he mumbled, "but we won't really do any hunting, except to get us a certain no good little fox." Copper growled in agreement. Amos soon found Todd tracks in the woods. On a narrow path through the trees, he set some traps and covered them with leaves. Now he whispered to Copper, "We'll let that critter walk right into our hands." Before long, Todd came trotting along with Vixie. When they got to the path, Vixie stopped short. "What's wrong?" Todd asked. "Let's go back," Vixie said. "It's too quiet here. All the birds and animals had gone away." "This path isn't safe, Todd." But Todd wouldn't listen. He started off alone. Suddenly, clink, clink. He leaped back just in time. Amos' trap banged shut all around him. "Run, Vixie!" Todd cried. The frightened foxes raced through the woods. Amos and Copper followed closely behind them. Todd and Vixie dove into a barrel, then darted out the other side. They scrambled up a rocky hill near a rushing river. The chase went on and on. Copper kept right on the fox's trail, leading Amos closer and closer. Suddenly, clink, one of Amos' own traps clamped shut on the hunter leather boot. Then Graw, a grizzly bear, came crashing through the bushes. He headed straight for Amos' ledge. The huge bear swiped at Amos, knocking the gun from his hand. With his foot caught in the trap, Amos was helpless. Copper rushed to his side, growling and snaring. The old brave dog charged at the bear. The bear slapped Copper's side. Copper got up and charged again. Again, the huge grizzly bear flung him to the ground. Now the bear closed in. He reared on his hind legs and raised his powerful paw. Copper shut his eyes. I'm done for, he thought. Suddenly, something small and furry flashed through the air. It landed on the grizzly head and hung on tight. It was Todd. He'd been watching the fight from a ledge. He hadn't forgotten about the trouble on the bridge. He knew that Copper blamed him for what had happened, but Todd didn't care. All that mattered now was that Copper had been his friend, and his friend was in danger. With an angry roar, the bear lunged and whirled, trying to shake Todd loose. Time again, Todd crashed to the ground. Time again, he got up and leaped at the bear. From a high rock, Vixie watched the battle. Todd looked nearly exhausted, but he kept fighting. Nearby was the river, where a waterfall rushed and tumbled on a jagged rock below. Lying across the waterfall, almost like a bridge, was an old fallen tree. With a swipe of his paw, the grizzly flung Todd out onto the tree trunk. Todd's head was spinning. He gasped for breath and clung to the wobbly tree. Gron the bear lumbered out to the finish the little fox, but he was too heavy in the old tree trunk. With a loud crack, it split in two. Down went Todd and the bear, over the waterfall and into the rushing, churning water. The huge bear was swept away in a swift current, but where was Todd? Vixie ran to the river edge to look for him. Todd, she cried, where are you? At last, Todd came up to the surface. He climbed slowly out of the water, scratched and bruised. Amos had finally managed to pull his foot out of the trap. As he saw Todd coming out of the river, he reached for his gun. At last I have got him, the hunter sneered. He raised his gun and pointed it at Todd. Now it was Copper's turn to help his friend. He came forward and stood between Amos and Todd. Get out the way, Copper, said Amos. But Copper refused to budge. He looked up at his master and growled. Don't you hurt my friend, he seemed to say. He was very brave. He saved us both from the grizzly bear. The hunter lowered his gun. He stared at his faithful hound, guarding the fox. For the first time, Amos understood the deep friendship between the two animals. Come on, Copper, he said. Gruff. Come on, boy, let's go home. With Copper sitting beside him, Amos drove his truck down the road and away from the game preserve. Todd and Vixie watched them from a hill. Copper looked up at Todd and the truck drove off. Todd looked down at Copper. They both knew something important. Now they knew that they would always be special friends. Very special friend, Todd whispered forever. So that was The Fox and the Hound from 1981. So if you like, subscribe, share, and comment, and have a groovy day. We have another video coming out real soon.